From scenic coastal drives to cozy pubs serving pints of Guinness, Ireland attracts millions of visitors each and every year. Doesn't feel like you want to get there now soon. However, tourists could face an additional charge. On Wednesday, ministers will debate a proposal to give local authorities the power to introduce a levy on overnight stays. In Europe, a number of cities have already introduced a so-called tourism tax. It's believed the measure could raise millions in revenue each and every year. Paul McAuliffe is a member of the Irish Parliament and former Lord Mayor of Dublin, and he has proposed this tax, and he joins us now live from Dublin. Good day to you. How are you? Or good evening, I should say. Thanks so much for being with the program.
Yeah. Good evening, Paula.
Now, this proposal would enable local authorities to levy this so-called, bed tax, hotel bed tax. How would this work, and how much potential revenue could it generate? And more than numbers, I'm looking to figure out, will it actually make a difference to the budgets of cities and towns?
Yeah, look, I love my city and I love welcoming people to this city. In many ways, tourism is what makes Dublin a really great place, both for Dubliners and for those people who are visiting. And many millions of people come to our city to enjoy the kind of events, cultural and sporting, that we put on in the city. Millions of Americans coming for our St. Patrick's Day Festival, for the college football games, and for our local literary and historical festivals. And we want to keep investing in those events. But at the moment, 100% of the cost of all of that falls on Dubliners. And that does have an impact on other services that the council can provide. Now, having been on the city council for 10 years, I came to the Parliament determined to give councils more power, because for many years, powers have been taken away. And I believe this power will enable Dublin City, and we're proposing that each of the 4 councils in Dublin would make their own decision, but it would enable Dublin City to raise over €12 million in a year for a very modest levy. We're not talking about the kind of high levies that other European cities are imposing to dissuade tourism. What we're talking about here is investing in the great tourism product that we have.
Yeah, you brought up an interesting problem, and it is shocking how much local taxpayers end up footing the bill, sometimes for these local events. Of course, those events boost the economy in general, and that's why this happens. But, you were pointing out that during a Taylor Swift concert, for instance, there was no extra money raised to even clean up the garbage, even though, of course, promoters and the concert goers, they end up paying for the extra security and things like that. How do you believe this will change the equation when it comes to the actual taxpayers themselves? I mean, all of us homeowners pay taxes in one way or the other. And yeah, you just see those tax bills going up, and you wonder what you get out of these city events.
Yeah, and look, nobody, certainly no politician, wants to be proposing new taxes. But what I think this will do is it will enable the city to continue to have those great events, but it will take the benefit of all that tourism and allow us to invest in a ring-fenced fund. And that's really important. Any money raised under this levy is ring-fenced. The councils will have to publish what they spend it on each year. It'll have to be audited and announced, and they'll have to engage with businesses and residents in the city before they introduce it. As you say, with a Taylor Swift concert, somebody might spend $200, $250 on a hotel room, $100, $150 on a concert ticket. And we're saying that a small fee of between €1 and €2 per night is a small amount, but it'll bring a great benefit for the city. As I say, there are cities like Amsterdam or Barcelona where they're proposing a charge of something like 12.5%. Now, that's not something we want to see. We don't have a problem of over-tourism here in Dublin, but we do want to keep investing in it so that more events, more great products that people can enjoy happen in our city. We could do that, as I say, with a ring-fence fund, and it'll make local councillors have the power to do what they want with that fund.
No, I know you said that Dublin right now is not suffering from any over-tourism. I'm sure that's correct throughout the year, but maybe there are certain pinch points, I would say, depending on when people want to go to Dublin. And it is a controversial question, right? Do you worry that a surtax like this, and I understand that you're saying it's modest, might lead to a bit of tourist fatigue, or is that sometimes a good thing, right? That it is better to get more revenue from tourism dollars, that it's stable, but perhaps have fewer people visiting, especially during those really popular times?
Yeah, look, I really don't think this is about reducing the number of tourists. And I think that's really important to say to those people who are abroad and they want to come here. And it's certainly not a case of us having too much tourism in the city. I believe we can cope with that. And I believe that the infrastructure is here. What we want to do is keep investing in that infrastructure, in our parks, in our streets, in the public domain of the city. And as I say, we can do that with a small charge. Now, I know there are people in the tourism sector that might be concerned about this, but what I would say is the small risk, and I believe it is small, of a charge is significantly outweighed by a failure to invest in infrastructure over time.
Well, we are showing beautiful pictures of Dublin right now, Mr. McAuliffe. You'll be glad to hear that. So I'm sure many people are wondering when they can plan that next trip to Dublin. And as you said, if this does go through, it's modest. And I'm sure there are lots of smaller counties and cities that also could use some of the financial backup. Paul McAuliffe for us. Thanks for being with us. I appreciate it.